Welcome to this week's video. This week it's a bit of an exciting one. I was back on the west side at my family's property, which meant I could test out the off-roading prowess of the Volvo XC70. It might not have gone completely as planned. I also wanted to test out a hammock setup that I hadn't really used before in the rain, which I got to do, and that was incredibly cozy and comfy. This might be a reason to hammock camp instead of tent camp. After all that fun, I worked hard setting up some posts with my dad, then I drove the Volvo back across the state, even after all that abuse. Let's get right into it with the off-roading. Well, as you might be able to see, I already tried this thing out off-road. However, I wasn't recording because it was after dark and I was just on my way home. So I'm gonna record a few instances of this thing going through some of the same obstacles that the Loyal did. This thing is a lot heavier, but it does have that traction control system that can, stop a wheel if it's spinning. First thing we're gonna do is this little downhill bit that's meant for the ATVs. The Loyal did fine, as you can see here, but we're gonna see how the Volvo does. It's a lot bigger, a lot heavier, a little bit wider. Let's go. I would say the Loyal actually did a lot better there. It's just this thing is so heavy, and I think the approach and departure angles in the Loyal are just a little bit better. So next, let's go drive through some puddles. It is worth mentioning that it is much sloppier and messier out here in February than it was in November. So I think the Volvo is actually gonna have a harder time of it. If you remember, the Loyal only just barely made it through this. So let's see how the Volvo does. Right after I walk like a half mile. It's not that far, but oh my goodness, that is sloppy. This will be interesting. I didn't expect to make it across the puddle and then get stuck here. Let's see if it can climb out of this. I haven't lowered the tire pressures yet, but as you can see, this is sloppy. Well, it would appear that we are stuck as heck. Next step, gotta go get the tractor. Well, it would appear that my dad moved the tractor key without informing me, so I might as well kill the Volvo until I can figure out where that is. Fortunately, I was able to get a hold of him, and he left it in his coat pocket, which fortunately he left his coat here, so I have the key. So I will be right back with tractor. I think I'm done off-roading for the day. That was enough fun. And it's pouring, so I'm just gonna leave the tractor here while I try and get this thing back, and then I'll come back and get the tractor. That said, I am gonna first try to go through this big puddle over here. I mean, why would I not? I got the tractor out here already, I might as well. Oh, I can see the tire tracks where the Loyal went through. Boy, does that look soft. Holy crap, this is deep. Wait, am I stuck right here? I guess I'm still stuck. Let's pull this thing a little further. All right, let's see if I can get out of here now, eh? Uh-oh. Uh-oh, that felt bad. That was a hole. Oh, geez. All right.
last pole, I promise. I don't even know if you can see this. I don't care. Yeah, I don't think it was gonna do that under its own power. Look at these ruts. These are from the tractor here. But no, that's one of the ones from the car. Yeah, it wasn't gonna do that on its own. Let's get this thing back to gravel where it freaking belongs. Or at least not mud. I'd be lying if I said that wasn't fun, but it was a lot of work and I am soaked. I'll see you later tonight when I'm camping in this rain. That'll be fun.
We got a break in the rain, so I think I'm gonna go set up camp while it's still light. I have sort of an idea of where I wanna camp tonight, but I'm just gonna load everything up onto the quad and then ride out there, I guess. I think I've got all my gear on here. My hammock over here, my tarp over here, a bunch of string and stuff to hang it up since I don't have any paracord yet. Got my sleeping bag right here, my underquilt right here, because that's a thing you need for camping to keep your backside warm. And I've got a nice sleeping bag liner, and then just because we're going luxury tonight, I've got a pillow. Then on the front, I got a lawn chair in case I want to bring the Steam Deck up and hang out, which I might do later. Let's go up and find a spot to camp. One last thing, might as well bring the chainsaw. There's a lot of downed trees right now. We had a storm a while back, and we haven't been able to catch up yet. Off we go. Really tell how many trees my dad cleared out of here already. I think his exact words when he got back was that it looks like a bomb went off. So I was gonna say, I think this is where we're gonna start running into some trees we gotta clear. So what's interesting about this is this battery I bought secondhand off of eBay. I think it was from one of those pallets, and so it should be fine, but it's always a risk buying used batteries. I think it's actually a genuine Ryobi, which is why I was interested. The knockoff ones have mixed reviews. Well, let's see how it works though. Oh man, I think this one works better than that other one ever had. It looks like we might be clear to the camping spot. Well, that's quite the mess. It looks like someone's already been up here working on this. There's some firewood laying along the trail here. So I'm not sure why this was my first thought of places to camp. Right over there where you see the clear cut, that's the edge of our property. So I don't know if I'm entirely a fan of camping right on the edge of the property. It should be fine, but I don't know. I'm trying to think of where else I'd camp. Oh, another place that might be cool is I could camp down near the creek. I made it so far though without losing anything. Yeah, let's go set up down by the creek. That would be maybe a little bit better. I don't like the idea of camping on the edge of the property for some reason next to a clear cut. And it could be a cool spot down by the creek. Let's go down there. Believe it or not, this is not the creek.
All right, I think this is camp for the night. I think I'm gonna hang it between that tree and that tree. And we already have a lot of tree cover, so that really won't make the tarp's job all that hard. And if I show you just over here, we have the creek. So I'll get to listen to that all night. It'll be quite nice. I am thinking that I don't have my hammock straps. I'll have to see if I stuffed them in with the sleeping bag or the underquilt, but if they're not in there, then I don't have them. Hopefully they're just in the car. When I got this set up, I got a really oversized tarp in the hopes that, you know, you have a place to hang out while it's raining. I don't see any sort of hammock straps here. I really hope I just left them in the Volvo. Let me run back and grab those though. So yep, they were just in the car, so we are a-okay there. Man, these straps sure are nice. We got plenty of length here. See, this is sort of what enticed me to this in the first place. The hammocks are so small, but I have to carry a sleeping bag or a top quilt and the underquilt as well as the tarp. So it's like, by the time you're done, is it even any less weight? And by my math, it's barely less if you're one person, but if you're two people carrying 2 hammocks and 2 underquilts and 2 sleeping bags or overquilts, it really isn't. I do have a lot more length. I really could camp somewhere a little different. I could probably string it up between these 2 trees, and then I'd really have to test the rainproofedness. Let's try that really quick. All right, so the new plan is to go between this tree here and then that tree there. I think I have enough length, and that would really let me test how waterproof this is and how much shelter you actually have. Let me just move it really quick. Right there. This might be a reason to hammock camp instead of tent camp. There is so much space under there. I'm gonna throw everything I have under here. I think I could even park the quad under here if it wasn't holding up the tarp itself. I am stoked for this now. This is actually awesome. There's plenty of room for my chair under here. You know, you might as well come in here and join me. All right, let's get my sleeping bag thrown in here. They say if you have a mummy bag, you can kind of use it as an overquilt, which is a lot comfier by just unzipping it all the way and then tucking your feet into the foot box and then using it as a quilt that way, just on the top, since having it on the bottom doesn't do you any good since you don't have any insulation. So that's in there. I also have this thing, which is new to me, which is a fleece liner, I guess you could call it. That is what it's called. That's why you might call it that. It claims it'll drop your bag 25 degrees. All the reviews I've read says maybe you're getting 5, but it is comfy. And yeah, I could just sit under here and hang out during a rainstorm. That would be freaking sweet. I actually hope it rains now. All right, it's about 8:40 at night and I'm about to head out. Got a bag with stuff like my Steam Deck as well as dinner packed. It's a late dinner tonight, but it should be tasty. I've also got a nice step 2 in there that I'm excited to try. Let me stick my phone in there and let's get going.
Well, who's surprised? Another scenario where I've lost audio. I enjoyed my step 2 along with some freezer pizza that I made earlier, and it was delicious. What more is there to say? For those uninitiated, a step 2 is a beer. Step 1 is setting up camp. Step 2 is enjoying a beer. And that phrase is coined by the channel Camping with Steve. After I was done eating, I set up my phone with some YouTube videos I downloaded earlier and played some Dome Keeper on my Steam Deck for about an hour. Well, it's just past 10 o'clock at night, 10:15, and I think it's about time for me to go to bed. I played some Steam Deck, I watched some of the latest Cars and Bids live stream, but it's time for me to climb into this bad boy right here and see how I like it. Check out the tarp here, keeping me nice and dry. Yeah, so far I am super happy with this setup. No wonder it's so light out tonight. It actually happens to be a full moon. I'm not sure if you can see this from my current video. Actually, yeah, that's a pretty good shot right there, the full moon.
Leah loves frogs, and she would be very jealous of what we're getting to hear right now. And you can hear right now on the tarp, it's starting to sprinkle. This is so unbelievably cozy. So one thing I like about this specific hammock, and I don't know how common that is that it has a pocket on the side where you can put stuff like your phone. I think this is a strategy that has been used. A chair to help yourself in. I see the inside of the hammock. It's time to sit down. Ooh, pretty comfy actually. I am in. However, I am not in any sort of sleeping bag or anything. So that is the next step. Well, in order to really test this thing, I thought I'd strip down. As you can see by my shoulder there, I wrapped myself in that sleeping bag liner, and then I put my feet in the foot box of my mummy sleeping bag. And then I'm gonna wrap that up around me and then try and sleep like that. Actually, I think I'm gonna stay up a little bit longer playing Steam Deck. This is just so comfortable. The hammock is like holding my arms close together, so it's like holding my Steam Deck at the perfect height, and just, this is really cozy, laying under here listening to the occasional raindrop. I managed to sleep until 8:30. I thought my alarm was set for 6:30, so I was a little chilly on my underside last night. I don't know if that's because this is a cheap underquilt or if it's because I don't have it set up right. This orange thing that goes around me, big fan of that though. It's kind of luxurious, but it does make for a cozier sleep. Time to get up and get packed up though. So it is still a work day for me, so I'm gonna pack this up later because I need to get back to the cabin and get to work. It's not like there's really any urgency anyways. This tarp did a great job of keeping me dry last night. It rained quite a bit. It was really cozy. Time to get going. All right, time to pack up. Looks like everything stayed nice and dry, so I guess that's one benefit of leaving it out here. All got time to dry out. Unfortunately, I forgot to bring all my bungee cords with me, so this might be a little interesting. Packed up. Most painful parts by far were the tarp and the straps, but not too bad. I think overall, I would say it's actually a little easier to clean up than a tent, because you only have to fold the one tarp versus you have to fold the tarp in the tent, and you don't have to like duck in and, you know, grab everything out of the tent and pull it out. You can just stand up and pick it right up out of the hammock. That was a really enjoyable experience. I need to do that again soon. Anyways though, for today, let's get back to the cabin. We're actually beached on the rear axle. Nothing a little four-wheel drive shouldn't take care of. Let's get everything thrown back in here really quick. I should probably clean up my straps as well. I do need to fit a tandem bike in here on my way home. All cleaned up, ready to drive back home on Sunday.
Before I do that though, my brother-in-law Ben and I helped my dad set up some posts. I lost the last part of the time lapse, but you can see what it looks like at the end because I recorded a short little clip. There were 15 posts in total. I think we averaged about 1 per hour. It's just a lot of faffing about trying to get them square. It was a lot of work, but we did get her done in the end. Well, there's the finished project since it stopped recording, I guess. So here you can see me making a really dumb decision. I tried to open my sunroof even though the camera was mounted to it. It messed it up all sorts of kinds. It wouldn't close completely, so I pulled over and probably spent about 10 minutes fixing it and just fiddling with it and looking it up until I did finally get it to close completely, and then finally got back on the road. Home around 2 a.m. on Sunday morning. I like driving through the night. There's less traffic, less people to have to pass. The only downside is you might hit an animal or something, which fortunately I did not do. However, it's time to unload this thing. I came back with more crap than I took with me, including this tandem bike that I got for free from my sister and brother-in-law. Gas cap at a gas station and it got ran over. Here's what, it's kind of tricky to get loose because there's nothing to grip. But here's what I had in there in the meantime, just the bottom part. But as you can see here, while I was on the west side, I ordered a new one and it's arrived. I don't know where this little loop was supposed to go, so I just kind of shoved it on here. See if the gas cap will close like that. Let's get this screwed in. Let's see, does this even close? It appears to close just fine. Maybe that's the intended position of that. So now I will not leave my gas cap behind again. I think that this here is a place for you to put it. You kind of just go like this. I think that's what you're supposed to do. And then if I drop it, hey, it just sits right there. It will not get left at the gas station again. At least not until this thing breaks, which this was broken on the last one, hence it getting left at the gas station. Anyways, easy fix, 15 bucks. If you enjoyed seeing what I was up to over the past week, you might consider hitting that subscribe button to see what I'm up to in the future. And hey, if you don't like what I'm up to, you can always hit it again and unsubscribe. If you really like this particular video, you might hit the like button. And if you didn't like this video, then hit the dislike button and leave a comment telling me what I could do better in the future. Hope I'll see you next week.